Hey everybody, what's going down? It's your girl Jay Renee. You know, I always got something to say. And today, on my special guest on the Talk With Me podcast, exclusively on YouTube, we have a singer who is just shaking the girls. I'm talking about she got the or I probably did that. I probably did that wrong, but she has her single, Where You At? And let's just say her name is Miss Alexis Finley. Yeah. Yes.
Hey.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good, girl. I'm doing good. It's a beautiful day outside, and I might text my ex and be like, where you at?
I need to know where you at.
Yes! 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 I live for it. I live for it. Tell me what it was like growing up. Tell everybody where you're from, and then talk about your upbringing, how that helped you in the music industry.
Oh, okay. So I grew up in Houston, Texas, raised in Missouri City. I grew up in a very close-knit family, very supportive. We had a lot of events as far as gatherings. So I really have a strong foundation when it comes to family, which kind of shows what type of support that I have now as an artist. So it's actually a beautiful thing. I grew up in the church choir, so that's kind of how I started singing. And from there, I just like always been in choir and always made music, like even as little as like 5 years old, as young as like 5 years old.
And when you were 5, you joined a group, or you were in the group class, right?
Not at 5. That was 17 or 16.
Okay, so you
When I
joined.
was 5, I was just making songs with my best friend at the time.
So what type of music were you making? Was this like a groundbreaking experience, because you did say you were in the church choir? So were you used to singing, Lord rest her soul, LaShawn Price, and also a little bit of Dottie Peoples, and then now you're just like, okay, we're gonna break into it. Let's sing a little bit of R&B.
I mean, I've always liked R&B music as well. So me singing in the choir was kind of separate from that, if that makes any sense. Because I used to, well, if you grew up in Houston, you kind of would know. Used to grow up listening to Magic 102, the R&B station. So yeah, I was kind of early on. I was just on the R&B music, to be honest.
Who were some of the inspirations you had growing up?
Growing up, I really liked Jill Scott, Lauryn Hill, India.Arie. Also, like as far as I guess the kind of more mainstream, Destiny's Child, Faith Evans, Mary J. I could go on. I think I named like what 7, 8.
And then, okay, so after graduating, that's when you were like, I'm serious about this. I want to do this as my career, correct?
You have to graduate. Well, actually, when I was actually in college, I did sound recording technology. So it's a bachelor in music. So I sang in school choir and everything like that on a collegiate level. During that process, we actually learned how to make our own music. So we would actually like feature on each other's projects that we would do for like weekly assignments. So I would sing for some people, I would sing for myself. And after college, that's when I was like, okay, so how do I go about this? Like, how do I make this happen? And I had a family friend who was actually pretty decent at production. And that's where my first single, Recovery, came from, that I released like in 2016. Yeah.
So what was the message behind Recovery, being that it was your first EP?
So the single came out in 2016. Then I went through some life stuff, and producer was out of the country for a while. Went through some financial hardship, so I didn't really actually start working on the full project of it until 2000 and the end of 2017. So 2018, I was just in the process of losing weight, in the process of doing artist development, vocal lessons, all the whole nine. And I released Recovery actually in 2019, the whole EP. And so the main message behind that is how to grow, better and not bitter after heartbreak, but being okay to display those feelings and emotions.
And then after that, so it's October 2020, and you're like, time to drop another EP. Let's talk about it. Sensitive Savage, because you talked about heartbreak with Recovery. Now Sensitive Savage, you like, what's good? What's up? What's popping?
Yeah, so it's like more so coming into your own as a woman, knowing what you want, knowing what you require, but at the same time, still able to be vulnerable, but you're not gonna take no shit from nobody, basically. So that's Sensitive Savage is that phase kind of after, heartbreak, you go through recovery phase and then you become savage on them.
Do you find it easier or harder to draw from your life to put into songs? Because some people, they draw from others' experiences and they write about them and then they sing it. What about you? What is your opinion on that?
It's easier to go from my own experiences. I do have some music that's about, my friends or like things that they've gone through, but most of my music is about things that I've actually been through.
And so you have to paint a picture for me. How is it in the studio? Are you like, I gotta light some candles, I gotta have some incense, I got all the lights gotta be off? Like, how's your mood in the studio?
None of that. It's not, no, it's not all that. So positive vibes, yes, but no candles or nothing like that, because normally that'll flare my allergies after a while anyways in a small space. But me in the studio right nowadays, we just kind of go in, like on this last album, just go in, talk about what mood we're in, any recent events that I've been through, anything that's going on. And we kind of just build a beat and kind of write on the spot. So yeah, that's how I like to write my music. Actually, like being in the studio or hearing the beat first.
Okay, so for y'all that don't know, she dropped the single Where You At March 18th. Go get that, available everywhere. So tell us where did Where You At come from? Like what was the emotion and the story behind the single? Or were you just like you was feeling it that day?
So Where You At was actually dropped in January 28th. So it may say that day because that's when the album dropped, but it's been out for a couple months. It'll be out for a couple months next week. And so with that one, I kind of came from like a soldier type of vibe, like Destiny Child type soldier vibe, like I need a soldier. So taking that is like, I need to know like where you at, fly with the fitted cat, where you at. So saying that you're open, to love, but you're not in a space to where you're desperate or you're just willing to take anything just to have it. So it's if you're gonna come with it and be correct.
Now, are there some features on this album that are from local artists or artists in general? I don't know where that accent came from. Or artists in general that we may not have heard before?
No features at all.
Come through platinum with no features. Okay. Yay.
I pray.
It's gonna happen, girl. You know it's gonna happen. What is it like being like in that independent realm where you went from a girl group and now you're independent, fully independent, and you're traveling constantly, and you have to keep that balance between being a businesswoman and then being an entertainer, but still being Alexis Finley?
I feel like, I mean, going from being in a girl group to independence, not that wasn't hard. We didn't even get to the point to where we performed together. So it wasn't like this long drawn out thing. Um, yeah, the other girl's mom got into it with the manager, so they said, let's cut it. I was like, oh, okay, just forget about me. But anyways, no, being independent, it's honestly kind of what I've always wanted to do. Just be more so in my lane. You know, I can kind of do whatever I want to do whatever I feel. Um, but as far as, oh, I forgot what you asked me. What was the second part to the question? I'm sorry.
Balancing being a businesswoman
Okay.
and still remaining with having that self motivation and that self meditation, being Alexis Finley.
Yeah, so definitely being organized, keeping the calendar, making sure I do things that do bring me peace, or like working out, like that's something that releases endorphins. So that's a good stress reliever, especially balancing work and actually trying to be a full-time artist as well. Um, I do meditate, and I'm just kind of organized. I don't have any kids, so it's kind of easy for me to maneuver things. But I just always make sure that, you know, I got my good dose of family time, my me time, which is, like I said, either the gym or even sometimes studio, the spa, on my couch watching a movie. Like that's me time. So I make sure I get a dose of that, definitely, for sure.
What was that moment like when you first performed your single? Like it could be any single. Like what was that moment like? Were you nervous or were you just like, okay, let's just jump into it, let's do it?
I was very, very nervous when I first performed my first singles on from Recovery album. EP. That was like back in April 2017. I actually performed something from the EP before it actually released. So yeah, that was nerve wracking. I actually did a little choreography too. So I feel like I did fairly well, but I'm a much better performer now.
Do you still provide vocal lessons on the side, even though you do have a very, very tight schedule? Do you still help other artists and other individuals perfect their voices?
No, I don't give vocal lessons. I was taking vocal lessons.
Oh, you were taking vocal lessons.
Yes, to make my voice stronger.
I,
Yeah, I do sometimes though. Yeah, for sure. Because if you don't use it, you lose it.
yes. Say that one more time. Just say that one more
Don't
time.
use it, you lose it. I mean, you know, the best of the best. Everybody has a vocal coach, pretty much.
About the new artists, are there any artists you are looking forward to working with from the city, or any artists you may have your eye on that you haven't worked with yet?
I'd love to work with Drake.
That was
Yep.
just Drake.
I mean, that's, yeah, more, of course, but I mean, that's like, that would be like everything.
I mean, make it happen. I mean, you're gonna be up there pretty soon. So you might as well just be like, hey Drake, you
I
know.
just gotta keep it consistent. I say it in all my interviews because I'm manifesting it. So yeah.
Are there any hardships in your life that you know that you had to get over, or that you just had to take time away from being an entertainer to focus on?
Um, I haven't had any hardships in my life that took me away from music, except for when I didn't have any money. So that was like, well, not any money, but not in a position to invest in my career. So that was probably between 2016 and 2000, actually 2016 to like the end of 2017. So I had a big peak in like September of 2017. And since then, I've been able to invest in my career.
Now, where did you get a chance to perform at South by Southwest?
No, because I was supposed to perform for the Chris Brown concert, Chris Brown and Monica.
Oh, you performed there.
I was supposed to. It got canceled.
Oh, the entire. I thought that was just the whole thing.
No, he called the show, but of course he did not show up, and then they canceled after that the whole show.
Okay.
So yeah, I couldn't perform 30 days before the show. So me going to South by just was pointless because I was getting ready for that, and it was literally supposed to be this past Saturday. So
now, what do you have any advice for the up and coming artists, or even those who, they are your fans, they also look up to you, and they may not have that type of balance or even that fluidity between genres of music like you have? Do you have any advice for them?
I would say just first and foremost, always be consistent, because nobody is going to outwork you if you're consistent with yourself, and no one is going to believe in you before you believe in yourself. So those are two major things. As far as fluidity with music, I would say it's all about kind of finding the right producer that you click with, and getting that sound that you actually, truly just resonate with and that you want. And sometimes that may take time, but you just have to network to find, the right people. And eventually, God will give you the desires of your heart. You just kind of have to keep pushing it.
And I want you to talk about the importance of also having hands-on on your own project to make sure that it fits you and who you are as an artist.
Well, it's major importance. I mean, well, yeah, it's very major, because if you go based off of what someone thinks you should look like or sound like, or just basically create their own vision of you through you, then you won't have any longevity, and then your fans won't see any consistency, and then they'll feel like they don't know you. So your fan base won't grow. So I would say definitely always be true to yourself, but do be open to the advice of people who are successful. That's very important too. So there's a way to still be yourself in your music and incorporate what's needed in the industry. You can do both.
And you got to tell me that feeling when you got all those followers, not only on your social media, but on your musical platforms as well. What was that like? Like, oh my God, I made it. Well, in my opinion, you made it. Right? Because you have all these followers, and literally my IG to my Twitter, it was just flooded with Alexis Finley. I said, we need to have an interview. We need to have an interview.
Oh, nice. That's good.
It was flooded. And then when I heard your music, it was like, oh, she sang. Oh, she sang. Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
So it's a great thing. Of course, I'm happy about it. For me, I'm not really easily content. So I just kind of like to keep climbing and keep basically beating myself. I'm in competition with myself, nobody else. So I'm truly, truly, truly grateful. And it makes me feel good to know that I'm actually getting somewhere and what I'm doing is working. So that's just like encouragement to just keep going.
And I want you to let everybody know that chart-topping album that's out right now on all platforms. I'm going to let you introduce it. And I want all of y'all to please click the link up under this video. And I want y'all to jam this as hard as y'all can. TikTokers, however you all call yourselves, okay? Create a dance to where you at. Because I don't have kneecaps like I used to. So y'all can dance, y'all flood her TL, flood everything. Hashtag Alexis Finley, and hashtag where you at. Oh, I felt so old when I did that.
It's okay. But yes, please go check out my new album. This is actually my first album. I've only released EPs in the past. So my first album, Beautiful Ones, it's a special tribute to all of my women. And I know my men should be able to relate as well, but it's available on all streaming platforms under Alexis Finley. And you guys can also reach me on all social media platforms at I am Alexis Finley.
All right, Miss Alexis Finley, I just want to thank you so much for coming and talk with me. And look, I'm gonna be listening for that track between you and Drake. We gonna put it out there. It's up there and it's stuck there. Hey.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, have a great day.
You too, girl.
Hey everybody, what's going on? It's your girl Jay Renee. You know I've got something to say. Bringing you new episodes and new guests on your Talk With Me podcast exclusively on YouTube. Like, share, and of course subscribe. And follow us on IG too. All right, y'all. Bye.